Okay, well, I won't take much time because I'm the only last person before you and the lunch, so I'll be quick. Just wanted to show this free resource that we launched probably a month or 2 months ago. It's called CalAgroClimate. It's a web-based decision support system for managing risks in agriculture. As you can see, there's a team. It's a partnership project between UC Merced, UC and Climate Hub. And I've been leading this along with the Climate Hub. And Prakash Jha, who is our new project scientist, is the newest member of this project. And the website is live. It's called CalAgroClimate.org. Feel free to access this website and provide us any feedback that you may have. So just a perspective, there is no shortage of data. Right? We have more data than we need, but the important thing is how can we translate the data into decision support systems. So that's what we are trying to use, raw climate and weather information forecast and put them in a crop-specific decision support system. So we've been asking growers and other technical service providers and in terms of how can we better utilize this climate information, weather information, and what sort of tools are the priority. And some of the initial tools that we started with is heat advisory system, frost advisory system, crop phenology, and pest advisory. This information is not new, but it's packaged in a way it's pretty easy to use for anybody on this website. In terms of the data use, frost and heat advisory is using the weather forecast that we get, this 7-day forecast, but this is more in a risk perception. So I'll talk more about those tools. Crop phenology and pest advisory system are using a little bit more high resolution gridded data, and I'll show what that difference between high resolution and low resolution information means. So as I said, we are using this PRISM 800 meter resolution data, and just to compare, if you have 4 kilometer grid versus 800 meter grid, you have more detailed information. And especially when we think about the topography in California, if we have better resolution in terms of weather, it's always useful. When we think about weather station, we have weather station network across the state, but if you want information for your farm or location where weather station is not available, this is the information is going to be pretty handy. And so that's our hope. Okay, so I'll really go quickly, but feel free to ask any questions if you have about any of these tools. So frost, as we know, frost exposure, as I said in the beginning, that under climate change, frost exposure is slightly getting down, the risk of frost, but we'll still have those years when you have late frost or frost damaging crops. If we have this information ahead of a time, then it's probably a useful information. So in this case, when you click on the frost advisory tool, you'll see something like this, and you can pinpoint your location. It's using Google Maps, so you can put your actual address, and you can also put the threshold. So for example, if you want to know your frost risk for 26 degrees Fahrenheit, am I going to get next 7 days is going to be below that range, and for how many days? So that's even more important, because if you have your crop exposed to frost 1 day versus 4 days consecutive, that makes a big difference, right? And so this risk is based on that. Same way with heat. We are using the same natural weather information, but in this case you can see the risk across the state. It's not you can pinpoint your location to get the map, but you can also see the exposure across the state. And if you have this heat advisory a week in advance, then there are many ways in which you can plan Our next step in the tool is to provide heat and frost mitigation resources. So we just put the data now, but we are also working on creating those resources and then they're already available in A&R, and you probably compile some of those resources that's available. Now the crop phenology tool was the one that we put in a lot of details. So if you click on the tool, you can select a crop, select a variety, and then this tool would provide your growing degree day accumulation for current year, and you can compare current year versus any number of historical years. So if you want to see if you really remembered how your couple of years ago how your crop responded to temperatures, you can actually see that on the map and then compare how those years progress. On the same map, we also have spring and fall frost information as well. So, if those growth stages are going to hit those critical time frame where you have the spring or fall frost risk, you can also analyze those information, and you can download all this information for free. So this is using that 800 meter resolution I talked about. It's not a free resource, but we purchased it and put it out in the system for free for anybody to use. And same way with pest advisory systems. So instead of only looking at pest, many times you have the pest information that is specific to the crop. And so we are trying to compile all the information that we have on the UCIPM website and creating this tool where you can select your crop and the pest, and that can provide what the life cycle and number of generations for a particular pest for current year. So I'll skip this, and as a next step, we already have like 7 or 8 different other tools in the pipeline. At the same time, we are also getting feedback just like this and see where we can improve. What we provided was based on some of the feedback that we received, but we are continuously improving those tools. So, and I think as a next step also is adding some adaptation resources along with these tools. So that can really help growers to see how they can use this information and be usable in a form they need. All right, and the last one is we definitely need more collaboration. So always open to ideas about that. Thank you. All right. Yeah.
I was just going to ask if the when you get the mitigation tools in for the frost advisory, if it'll take into account like dew point factor, so they know when's the best time to turn on this, like sprinklers and versus turn them off.
Yeah, I think so. That's our hope, is to add more details like dew point temperatures. But this one is only using, unfortunately, the National Weather Service data, and so we are trying to integrate that the dew point temperature and other aspects where you can really pinpoint what the frost. But at the starting point, we are just converting it into the tools. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, well, so it's about the time. So the last one is your ticket to lunch. So before you go for lunch, we need your feedback on this workshop, and so that can help us not with this one, but also for the future. So Dr. Samuel I. Candy is our evaluation specialist, and he and Caddy really helped put this workshop together. So thanks a lot to both of them. And so feel free to provide your comments, and once you're done, give it back to Samuel, and then lunch is already here. So thank you. And I appreciate all your attendance and listening to all these talks, and thank you to all the speakers.